Hello everyone. Okay, today I'm going to go into a review of the Onyx Boox Nova 2. I've had it going on 3 weeks, almost a month. So I want to get into the device, how I use it, and basically give you my impressions, my perspective on the device itself, right? And how it works. So this is the 7.8 inch device. It is pretty small as compared to the 10, and Onyx also comes out with a 13.3 inch device, I think it is, and this runs on Android 9.0. So the device is capable of or accessing the Google Play Store, which is pretty good, and I'll go through some reasons why that's an added bonus to using this device. And let me see, what are some other things here? It also has a front light where you can enable the device to have, the backlighting here. So at night, you can actually see what you're writing on. I can even, let me see, if I turn off the lights here, you can see how it does have the lighting capability here. And you can turn it up, you can turn it down. You can even change the different colors here, the blue and the orange lights, and have them out of sync, but I have them in sync right now. And this does come in handy at night. I do have at night where I'll lay in bed before I go to sleep, and I will go ahead and turn the lights back on, and I'll go ahead and kind of journal before I go to sleep. Things that I may not have written into the journal earlier in the day. So those are a couple bonuses there by having the backlight. There's some people that don't like it, but if I don't need it, then I just turn it off, right? So it doesn't really, I guess, hurt me per se in using the device from having the backlight. But by having the backlight, they do put a glass on the top here. So the backlight typically demands them putting a layer of glass on the top, which again affects the writing performance and feel of the device. So it doesn't bother me at all as far as writing on glass either. Typically, I'm before the e-ink devices, I was using an iPad, and it still gives me the glass feel on an iPad. Even using the Paperlike, yes, that makes it a lot better, but still it doesn't really feel, I guess, completely like paper. So I'm going to go top to bottom here on the side menu of the things that you can get into on the device. First, starting with the library. So the library is where you can store all of your files that you upload into the device now, or save onto the device. So I do have a PDF, EPUB. There are some other formats that are supported here. Let's go into the PDF, and you can pinch and zoom to get in, be able to see some of the text if it's too small. You can also, change any of the formatting. You can do split screen. You can scribble on here as well. So if we want to scribble, they give you a shortcut here, quick scribble enabled here at the top, where if you want to start writing on the screen, maybe circling some things and putting arrows to stuff, you can do that here. One other piece here as well is that you can do searches for content, text, certain words and everything. But if we go into an EPUB, one other thing that I do like is that if you bring up the menu just by touching the screen, you start to see all the files that you've recently had open here. At the top here, you can see the different tabs. And then you can see at the bottom and even the top row menu here that it's consistent with how it looked on the PDF, which is pretty nice. You can select text here. See if, I had to get rid of the menu. Oh, and I'm also still in scribble mode. One thing with the pen here is that you can turn it around and you can erase. So that's a nice feature to have. Let me get out of the scribble. so that I can show some other things here. So if you go into here, so you can select text on here, and then you can do annotations. You can highlight. Here I just have the underline highlight selected. I can go ahead and change that to having a highlight in the background of the text. And change that to be a lighter highlight versus the darker one. You can add in some kind of text in there. And then that will carry across with that the selection that you've done. You can tap that little circle with the 3 dots and see what the annotation was. So this is pretty nice. You can do that across the document itself. As I mentioned in the PDF, you can just turn the scribble back on again. You can still scribble. Turn that on. You can underline if you want this way, circle things, so on and so forth. So that's pretty similar to the same markup that you can do on the PDF. We'll turn that off, and we'll go out of that. So in the library, one other thing is there's a mobile app that you can use to upload files. There's a desktop app as well so that you can upload files, and that's pretty convenient. So let me show you that. Okay, so I have my Samsung Galaxy Note here, and I'm in the MyBox mobile app. Hopefully that's focused. I have the autofocus on. One thing you can see here is that all the notes are synced here, and this is really snappy. The app it refreshes fairly easy. Everything's synced pretty well on this app. So get the reading notes if you do notes while you're reading and you're taking notes in an EPUB. The notes, again, you can click on these notes and you can see them. It'll download them, and then you can view them. Close that one. And you can also push files to this device from this app. So if I go in, select there, say I want to do documents only. See if we can pick a document here. You can upload. All right, let's do this one. Zillow business plan. Now, I've pushed that to the device. You can see that there. And if I go to the device, you can now see that that PDF that I pushed is showing up here. Now, you don't have to be on, right now both of these devices are on the same Wi-Fi, but you don't have to be on the same Wi-Fi. I've even done this where the phone is on the cellular network, the device is on Wi-Fi, it will still all sync, right? Because the app on the phone is actually syncing to the cloud server, and then the device is syncing with the cloud server. So it's really nice implementation of the mobile app, and yeah, it's I think that really adds to the usability of the device and helps you if you have multiple devices like most people do. While you're using these devices, and transfer from one to the other, you still have access to your data, or you can still push content and data to each other device and have these things in sync. Another way that you can get files into here as well, you can, let's see, connect via the USB-C port, which is here on the bottom, right here. It's not in focus, potentially, but you plug that in, and then it pops up on your computer, and then you can transfer files. Okay, so that's really all I wanted to show on the library portion and dealing with files. Let's move on to the other areas. So we have the store. Now you can see the store here is where you can get ebooks, and you can download ebooks from their store. So I've disabled it. I do not use it. Don't care to use it. And we'll get into why when we start looking at the ability to download your own apps. Okay, so now we're in the notes area. This is where I spend most of my time is in the notes, because when I bought this device, one of the main reasons I bought it was because I wanted to do handwritten notes, right? So when you go into here, one good thing is that it does have an organizational structure. You can have folders and you can have files, right? And you can create different folders and put your different files in those folders. So in here, I've kept it simple for now. I've only have everything in the root drive, and I don't have any folders. So let me scroll through. You can scroll through here. You can see that I have a lot of them in here. Pretty much every day I've been creating, a daily note where I journal everything from the day into that one note. Let's go into a note. In the note, let me see, what can we talk about? I'm not going to go in depth as far as all the different pens, the eraser tools, the selection, and all this other stuff, but they're there. You can do a lot with the note-taking portion of this device. One thing you can get into, because I do this fairly regularly, every time I create a note, I come in and I select which template that I want to use. And I typically select the one with the lines, and then I start writing, right? So say, now the writing on this device, if you've seen any of the other videos I've done comparing another device with this, you'll see the writing is pretty fluid. The pen itself is, while it's really plastic and kind of flimsy, it's really thin, it works pretty well. So I have no problems using it. Probably not the best pen ever. I have the Lamy pen that I came with the Supernote, which is a little bit better feel in the hand when I'm writing on the device. Another thing with the note taking, again, the pen writing on here, you're going to have a glass feel to it. There's really no resistance as you're writing. So if that's something that you don't like, that's something this device may not be something that you want to grab. It may not work for you. One other thing with the notes is that you do get AI recognition on here. That is another thing where you can turn the handwriting into text. That's another piece there. I think that works pretty well, and can come in handy. So you can see how it changed everything that I wrote by hand into text. You can also go ahead and share this to PDF. And when you do this here, it will put it in your library, and that way you can reference those documents and notes later in handwriting. You can also go back, and you can see it's still in handwriting. As you're writing on the document here, one con, I guess I would say, with this device, there's really not too many that I have, but one of the main things that bothers me with this device is the button here at the bottom. It's really hard to see because the button's black, and the edges, the device itself is black, but it's right here underneath this box logo. And as you're writing, the lower you get down to the bottom here, the more likely it is that you're going to press this button. And this button cannot right now be disabled. So I think that's one thing that they should add the feature in here to be able to disable this button. You can change as far as what it does, whether it sends you home or to a certain area, but I hit this button so often that what I've started doing is changing the orientation of the screen. So if you come down here, you can rotate, hit that rotate button, and you can change the orientation of what the screen itself. And what I do is I flip it so that the device is pretty much like this here, and I use it upside down just so I don't hit that button there. Okay, another thing with notes is the syncing, which is pretty important here. So I like to make sure that, as I showed with the mobile app, is that the content, the stuff that I'm writing, is off somewhere in the cloud, so it's accessible on other devices. Now, you can set it up so that syncs when you open a note. You can set it up to sync when you close a note. You could set it up to do both. What I found is that syncing via the cloud is a little slow. So I had it set up so that every time I close, it will sync. But after a while, the device it's really snappy, it's really fast. But as soon as you have to start syncing something to the cloud, it slows it down more than I like. So I basically now I manually sync it. So what I do is I do all my writing for the day, and every so often I just hit the sync button when I know I'm going to put the device down. So that's something that, again, you can tweak it however you like, but for my taste, the syncing before or after every note got a bit cumbersome, especially if you're going to be going in and out of notes often, to where right now I just try to remember to hit the sync. And what I'll do is I'll go out of the file itself, then hit the cloud sync here, and it will only sync the notes that have changed, but it will go through every note. So that's the only problem doing it this way. So, but you can open up each note in that note that you're in, and then you can do it as well. So I kind of do both as I'm going through. Okay, so now let's go into storage. Here in this area, I won't go too deep in here, but these are just really the directory structure of the device. What I will do is there is a web app. I can show the web app where you can see this folder structure here, and you can pretty much also when you connect via USB, and depending on where I place that video, maybe I have it earlier than this. But when you plug it into the computer via the USB cable, you can also see that folder structure. And again, you can get the things however you like. So it's really versatile and flexible in that way. Moving on to the apps. This is, again, one of those benefits by having access to the Google Play Store, which is here. This does have to be enabled in the settings for you to do this. But after you set it up with your account, you can go into the Google Play Store, and you can pretty much download any app that you like from the Google Play Store and have it on this device. But with that said, just because you can doesn't mean you should go in and download every app that you have similar to on your phone or on your tablet. This device, its real sweet spot is handwritten notes, right? Using the note app, reading PDFs and marking up PDFs, reading ebooks, and marking up ebooks and other documents that you might want to read and mark up that the device supports. It does have a feature in here where if you change the mode, the speed here, you can get up to this X mode, and they tout where you can use video. To me, it's actually unusable. I would not buy this device if that's what you're thinking you're going to do with it. You're not going to be watching video and be satisfied. So your expectations when you buy this device, the device is what, $340, something like that there online, which is not horribly expensive, but it's not cheap either. So the value that you get from this device is going to be, again, with PDFs, with EPUBs, any kind of reading that you're going to do, and handwritten notes. Anything outside of that, if that's what you're trying to do with this device, you're going to get frustrated really quick. So the apps that I think are, suited for this device are going to be the Kindle app, of course. This helps to where you don't have to move all your PDFs and all your ebooks into the device itself, onto the storage. If you already have Kindle books and you have PDFs in your Kindle app, you go in here, you open up the app. See here. You'll get your list of books and everything in the library, and you can go ahead and read them. So this is one book here. Within there, you get the same features that you would in the mobile app. to where you can change text and formatting, etc. We go out of this here, you can see the library. You can scroll through your library, and again, you can select any book that you want to. Now, scrolling, you can see while it's somewhat smooth, but for ebook, you can see as you move through, the refresh of the screen is pretty slow. So you can change, again, the speed to maybe help with that. But what happens is that you get ghosting as you change that. So for me, I like to not have to constantly clean the screen from, because of the ghosting. So I keep it at the normal most of the time. But this app works very well with this device. The Scribe app works really well. Again, this is pretty much a competitor to the Kindle app. So you can come in here and you have the same thing. You can go into a book or a PDF and you can read from here. Now, you're not going to get the same in these two different apps. You're not going to get the same scribble functionality and annotation functionality that you do in the native devices notes, or if you're reading the PDFs or EPUBs in the native apps. So just understand that. But if you're just in here to read, and you still get the functionality of the app itself. So whatever you can do in these apps on your other devices, you'll have the same thing there. You see what other apps you can call out. Oh, Notion. If you're a Notion user, because Notion is mostly text, if you're using it with mostly text-based stuff, this will actually work well for you as well. So I come in here, I have a template that I use every day. So I'll set up my daily routine, and if you go in here, let me see, let me do one. It is a little slow again, but you can go in here and the typing experience works pretty well. Depending on the app you're in, you can see there's a little bit of latency in the typing here in this app, but it's not like that in all apps. Here, but working in the app, see, I have my daily routine set up here. I can come in here and I can select things that I've done in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening. And again, you can tailor this however you want, but it is a little sluggish. The Notion app, I think, is sluggish anyway, even on the other devices. So having it on this e-ink device does not improve the speed of the app, of course, because it's a little bit slower, itself from a refresh screen perspective. So, but use it, again, understand the limitations of an e-ink device and use it for what it's good for. Don't try to overdo it. And then you can also use the Writer Pro app here as well. I have OneDrive on here because I get to my OneDrive documents. And again, any other app that's in the App Store you could use. So download, test it, see what works for you, then move forward. You can connect your Bluetooth headphones to this and you can get sound as well. So if you have any audiobooks, you can listen to those. The audio works pretty well. So I've had no problems with that. And there's also a browser that's on the device. Now, I don't use this browser a lot, but if you're going to more text-heavy type sites, this is good. A lot of the sites these days that I tend to go to have a lot of images, have video, so on and so forth. So I don't use this, but in a pinch, it's there. And then also you can have your email. You can have an email account set up to where you can read your email, which comes in handy again in a pinch if you want to use that. I'm not going to go into the settings of the device, but one other aspect of this device here, I want to keep it more to the usability of the app, not really get into the details of all the settings. But there's this nav ball here. This comes in convenient where you want to have some quick options. You can set that up. You can go into the settings and change these around so you can have as many or as little as you want there. The only thing with this here is that it does get in the way. So if you're taking notes and you have the ball out like this here, I've accidentally hit it, and if you're writing and you're hitting this, it's almost the same aggravation that that I get from this home button here and hitting that accidentally, because things start to act weird. But you can collapse this button using that little icon, and then it goes in. But you still have to figure out a good spot to have that in. You can also disable it if you want. You can come in here and disable the nav ball. That way it's not in your way at all, and then you can enable it when you think you're going to need it again. So another cool feature I think I'll show off here is, and at least give note to, is as you're using the device, what comes in handy is to have the split screen. So the device, if you come in here and you hit split screen, you can split the view for the current device, current dock and other, current dock and notes, and then current docs and translate. So if we do current doc and notes, one nice thing is that you could be reading something on the one side here and taking notes on the other side. So the split screen is a nice feature on this device to have, and it really does come in handy. I've used it plenty of times, as I read something and I want to take notes. Now this device is pretty small, it's 7.8 inches, but imagine on a bigger device where you have more room, it's even more handy. Okay, so in summary, right, the Onyx Boox Nova 2 e-ink device, my take on it is I really like this device. Now again, you have to kind of lower your expectation if you're used to having either an Android tablet or an iPad, because it's not going to do everything that those do. So you should use the tool for what it's intended for, right? So again, it's really meant for reading ebooks, EPUBs, mocking up those different type of file types, and also taking notes. It's really good at those. So if that's what you're looking for, I can't say enough about this device. I think it's really keyed for those, and it's really nice. Now, one thing you may have to, decide on is the size of the device that you want to get. Me, I, got the smaller one for the carrying factor. It's a lot easier to carry around for me. More mobile, I can put it anywhere. But I am looking at some bigger devices just so that when I'm at home and I'm at my desk, maybe I have more real estate to play with as I'm either sketching things out, mind mapping, things like that there. I don't have to use up as many pages, right, on the device. And also some of the other devices that I've seen that are bigger would give me more room so to where I'm not hitting this button all the time, if there even is a button. So we'll see on some of the other devices that I pick up that don't have this button and how they work out for me. But I use this device on a daily basis now. I do have the Supernote A6X, and that one I've started using it, but this is my go-to. I'm constantly coming back to this just because it has these apps that are on it that I cannot get on the other device. But so it's very versatile. It's speedy. It has the backlight. You can do notes, and there's a lot of features that you can do with the notes. Same with the PDFs, the EPUBs, some other file formats. It has the mobile app, which is very convenient, and it also has the web app that you can use on your desktop as well to get access to your files and your notes. There's the nav ball, which is a good feature to have on there. The pen, again, may be one of the things that's not as much of a pro for the device. And also the the button placement here on the device, and not having the ability to disable it would probably be another con, in my opinion. This one here, they can probably fix in software. The pen itself, you would just have to buy another pen. If this is really a deal breaker for you, you can just get another pen. The split screen feature, again, another usable piece of this. And again, it's a well-rounded device, very versatile, and with additional software updates, I'm sure it's just going to get better. So that's my review of the device, some of the ways that I use the device. Hope you liked the video. Hope it was helpful in maybe making you or helping you make your decision on whether you would buy either this device or one of the other Onyx Boox, because the other ones that they have, the 10 and the 13, really the size difference is the main thing. The 13-inch one does not have the backlighting, and from what I've researched, the pen feel, the writing feel is a little bit better than writing on plain glass. So, but that's it. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and have a good day.